Good evening. I thought it would be a good evening for some tarot reading. I've been reading books and working and watching TV. And I'm looking for something else to do. So tarot's going to be it. Tonight. So that's what we're going to do. And I have cookies. Salute. I did something really dangerous. I bought Oreos at the grocery store. And so tonight, out of sheer boredom with food, dinner is Oreos. Man, they're so good. Jeez. And they give you fast energy, which is needed. Okay. So I might just eat. I got a whole bag of 2 bags of Oreos. I might just do that. The tarot cards told me it's okay. I said that yesterday, that today I could eat Oreos all day. But I will deign let me see. Well, there's still a lot left. But all right. I'm going to go over to the on fire tarot table. I think I may have lit too many flames. But I'm going to go over there and pull a card from my new deck that I got while walking in Venice, at Venice Beach the other day. There are some interesting shops over there, and I was just going by, and there were 2 belligerent women sitting behind a cash register, staring at me like this. As I perused their little tarot shelf. And I was like, how odd that such belligerent looking faces would have a tarot shelf in their store. And they were just like, and I was like, huh, how much are these? But so I got them. They were probably just being silly, but my God, I thought people in Venice were like easygoing. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to go over there and do a quick reading in general for the evening, and we'll see how that goes. Some readings are disastrous and they portend ill, but this one shouldn't be, I predict. I'm going to switch cameras. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, this is a different deck for me. This has a cool feature. I'm going to do a 4-card reading. Just sort of the little pick-me-up reading for the evening. Sort of like, how did the Wednesday close out? This, another hard Wednesday for everybody. How did it end up? What's to think about? That kind of thing. All right. Moi, spiritual self, the me, the persona, in the persona, in the persona, in the persona. Thinking. Feeling. And the heart of it all. All right. I'm going to start with the self this time. Four of Wands. The crow. There's 2 crows in this one. The crows are the stars. They're all over this deck. I sort of liked it. That 4, that's, that's a fountain overflowing. That's creativity, and that's what we love to do. And we've been finding energy. We've been finding energy for that, what we want, what we love, what we want to put our attention on, that kind of passion. And we've got that. We sort of have this feeling recently that we can get it done. We're happy, we're content with where we are in those pursuits. Those abilities they're giving us confidence, okay? And we're willing to share. We've got these 2 crows here sharing in the wealth and splendor of the fountain and the blossoming going on all around as a result of talents and drive, will to be passionate about things that we do. And that's us. That's us moving through this week. That's a good omen for achieving things and making things this week. They can be making things in relationships, making things with your hands, of course, make anything that creative spark or that spark of love, that passionate sort of seeking and searching and trying to, come together and improve things. That is what the wands are doing. And things are flourishing here. We're really loving this process. We're content with it. Now, let's go over to our thinking, the beast of the mind. The crow here is the 3. Pentacles, coins. This is abundant. This is action that has borne fruit. We work together here. We enjoy the blossoming of our creative drives, our efforts, and our efforts bear fruit. And this is something we need to think about, because how do we approach this, this sort of physical material gain as a result of our efforts? How do we handle it? When we do this kind of when we have this kind of drive, we take actions. 3 is the number of action, and 3 is the number of putting energies that have been pent up or have been, putting things that we've gathered to work into action. And this card, with this deck, it's leaning toward the Rider-Waite meanings rather than the Tarot de Marseille meanings, which I usually use. But this 3 here, more than simply representing the active element in the material, it's the reward has come. There's a gathering going on here in this image. And this is material gain. We have succeeded in some way or are about to succeed. And this is what's occupying our thinking. We're thinking about the best ways to handle success, basically. You've got to work in relation to others and handle it properly. So that material gain, physical gain, wherewithal is happening or is about to happen. It's suggested by this card, and to think about how we want to approach that. Now, let's move over to the feeling. Interesting. Reversed death card. Okay. Well, the death card, it means the passing of something. It doesn't necessarily mean somebody runs out and gets hit by a car. It means something is going, something is leaving. In this case, the reversal, the reversals don't always mean the opposite. They mean, well, maybe, you're not quite willing to allow this process to unfold naturally. You're not quite there with it. You're a little nervous about it. So something wants to end. And it could be that, and this is emotional, this position. So here we have this flourishing of creative energy and drive. We have this gathering of resources, successful action, and plucking the fruits, literally, of our labor. And here we are mourning or accepting the passing of something, but that's what we're supposed to be doing, but we're a little unwilling to, so we're clinging to something here. We're clinging to some dying process within us, some dying feeling. It could be that this kind of success brings confusion, that we're not used to it. Sometimes we wonder if we deserve it. But something needs to evolve, which requires us letting some element, some part of ourselves, or maybe a part of our personality, leave us or leave the situation for a while. It doesn't mean the death necessarily of that element. It can mean the letting it go in relationship to this current time period. But we're having some trouble, maybe, here. There's something else we're looking for, and we can't let go of something that we feel it makes us feel somehow secure to keep hold of it. And the card is suggesting that we let it go, and it goes into the ground, it fertilizes, things come up for the next phase, and we rise into the next period of development. Now let's look at what the heart of the issue is telling us. Okay, there's another reversal here. The Four of Pentacles. So you see, there's a gathering of success, material gain, okay, and looking to horizons. They allow us new horizons. We can see now the possibilities are farther along, we can go farther than we have been able to before. We can see something ahead of us that we want to seek out. And we have we can basically enjoy what we have accomplished here. Now, what's happening here is a moving away from the security. There's an impulse to risk now. After we have this energy, we have some success, and we go into action. We have now the heart of the issue, which is reinforced by the reversed death card. This means we're clinging to something instead of letting it sink into the earth and do its job there. We're clinging, which means we're not perhaps looking out and ready to get on the boat and go across and see what's over there. Because we're hanging out here and we're enjoying the fruits of what we've done, what we've accomplished, which is fine, but it leads to stagnation. That's why this card came out reversed, because we're sitting a little bit too comfy where we are. So we have to keep looking up here at this, our normal self, our spiritual inner self, which drives us, this bursting, and let that be our guide. But don't sit and bask too long. Now these are all number cards except for this one. So this one sort of means, this is a typical ingrained, harder to reverse hesitancy than this one. So the message here is get up and go a little bit farther. It's the time for rest is over. Now it's time for growth. Oh. That's that one. So, Unity, you bring up deck interview. I don't. Tell me about them. The deck, actually, I like it. I like it because the images are unfamiliar to me, and so they're kind of jarring a little bit. The issue I have with decks like this one is they take different shades of meaning in their number cards compared to the Tarot de Marseille, which doesn't really, the Tarot de Marseille doesn't convey a lot of, it doesn't convey very much specific information about the number cards, but the Rider-Waite based decks try to. And I think it's totally legitimate because, whatever deck you choose to use, that's the sort of symbology you're accepting, and that's what the reading involves at that moment. So it's just as valid as any random pulling of cards from any deck. You just have to sort of say, okay, I'm using this system of meaning instead of the other one. The woo side of tarot users. Well, yeah, I'll see what I think. I'm not, that's the thing about the spreads are, it's not that easy to come up with spreads, I find. They get it's tricky to figure them out, to make new ones, because there are so many good ones already. But for the purposes of streaming, I usually stick with slightly shorter, smaller spreads. Although I think it might be fun to use this deck actually for a 10-card Celtic Cross one. I think that might be a good idea. I actually really like doing the Celtic Cross. So I may do that. Let's see. Yeah, so, learning spreads. Well, most spreads, it's like you can sort of change a few things about them. Like the easiest one is with a 3-card spread, people often do past, present, future. But you can change those to say, thinking, feeling, heart of the matter, or thinking, feeling, outcome. You can based on how you're sort of feeling about that reading, you can change it up a bit. Even the Celtic Cross, a big spread like that, you can sort of find different people with slightly different meanings for each position. God, a tutorial. Well, okay. I mean, a tutorial. Look, it's almost like any reading sort of is a tutorial, just all by itself, unless a reader is trying to be very mysterious about what the positions of the cards mean. I could sort of see some readers might be like, here's the layout, and I'm just going to sort of make a statement, and they're not really telling what the spread is, how it's constructed, I guess. And sometimes that might work. Sometimes it's okay to do a spread and then just say, this is the little story this spread is telling me, without even explaining the positions. It all depends on the moment. Yeah, some don't. But I think that really the most fun with tarot is doing readings where the goal is to sort of so that that person can go and do their own reading and get into it. You don't talk about a book you read and then hope that the person doesn't go and read the book. So why would you do a tarot reading and hope that the person would not go and learn how to do tarot readings? Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. I ate an Oreo. I'm sorry. I have to admit it. It wasn't today. It was the other day. It was a few days ago. It was on the weekend. Yeah, it was the only one. I usually buy books and stuff, but I actually very rarely buy tarot decks because I don't like them. I don't like most of them. But this one I did. I'm actually liking this one better than another one I bought a couple of weeks ago. There's a deck. It's got sort of, It's nice, but there's something about... See, decks are interesting. The images catch you initially. That's why they sell so many tarot decks. Because it's like walking into a comic book store. Everything goes bam, it hits you, and you're like, oh, it all looks great. Tarot decks are the same, and they can grab you initially, and then a few weeks later, you're like, I don't know, it's not holding up. It's wearing a little thin on me somehow. Decks are like that. That's why I like the Tarot de Marseille. It for some reason, for me personally, it holds my attention. I may get bored with it and switch over, like I've done now. Switch over for it, but I always go back. I always go pick it up, and it's interesting all over again. Is there a particular card? Yeah, I would say absolutely. And for some reason, the Moon card comes up, and the High Priestess comes up. Those are the ones for some reason. Is there another one? Moon card, the High Priestess. Yeah, that's... Well, and then how the number cards are handled in general is important to me for some reason. And so this one, the Crow deck, I really like the way they do it, because it's very kind of bold. They're bold images. They have a nice sort of definite... They're kind of got all this wild stuff going on in the background, but the black birds there, are very sort of Edgar Allan Poe, cool. I don't know what it is. The Moon and the High Priestess, they have to have something sort of... they have to handle that balance of mysteriousness with... They have to be a little woo-woo, but not too much. They have to be they have to hint at abstract, but they can't be totally abstract. Hi, Cassidy Scout. Well, if you want to know, why don't you try to find out? I'm a medium. All of my clothes are pretty much... Well, no. I wear large because... shoulders are medium belt size. But what I do is I read the tarot cards and I let them do the whole job. That's it. So I don't have to be a medium. I just go, what's that? Speaking of the devil, look, it's the High Priestess. Now see, this is, here we go. This deck I liked 2 weeks ago, it's fine. But this image of the High Priestess, to my mind, it's just a bit on the innocuous side. It doesn't have enough punch. It's a bit nice. She looks really nice and everything. It's a little too pleasant. That's all. It's okay, though. These things are... Oh, hi, Annette Tubbed. How are you? I was just discussing the High Priestess card. And but, I look at this card, and there's a pomegranate, which is cool. That's that classical mythology thing. Persephone, I think. Anyway, and so Persephone goes down into the underworld. The journeys through the underworld. The high priest, and I think that's what's going on with the thing, unless I'm totally confusing the mythology. But anyway, this character here in the tarot does have that journeying into the underworld, journeying into the subterranean, the depths, also the heights. Above and below, this whole thing, the same. They are that in this respect. She's going on this trip to the unknown, to the hidden dream world of communication with the unconscious. And there's conscious and unconscious, masculine and feminine. That's the two pillars there. They're the two opposite poles. And she's in between, and she's a medium. To answer your question there, Cassidy Scout, the high priestess, represents the part of everyone that is a medium. I believe mediums are middle people. They communicate from one side to the other. And that's what the high priestess represents. But mediums, what we're talking about isn't necessarily communicating with the dead. When you talk about the underworld, when you talk about Greek mythology and traveling into the underworld, you're really getting into traveling into the self, the unknown, like the goal of meditation. The whole every Buddhist will say that finding the self, actually, it's very easy, but apparently also very hard. And so this character in the tarot represents that person, that communicator that can go back and forth and bring back information, which is and conveying that kind of thing in a tarot card. That's why I like this. I always look at this card in every deck I want to buy. That's a very tricky thing. It's a really difficult subject matter because it compresses an enormous amount of history and mythology and philosophy and religion and psychology into one teeny weeny little baseball card. That's what's so cool about it. Gabby, if you're trying to join the queue, you do !join. But there's no queue. I mean, you can just ask a question if you want a question. Okay, here we go. Gabby, you're in the queue. And you're up. Ask. I'm going to function as an intermediary between that table over there and this one over here. Okay. A friend. You haven't hung out for a year. really bad anxiety and ended up what? And she still tries to hang out with me, and I think I'm traumatized because you ended up, what is that? That little, oh. Last time we hung out, we had really bad anxiety, and then we got. Okay. Okay, so you hung out with a friend, you had bad anxiety, you threw up, or at least felt sick. Yeah. Okay. Let's think about that question. I'm going to move over to the tarot table. Okay. So, question is about hanging out. I mean, okay. So, yeah. So the question, how does she feel about it? About you having a reaction is not really as important as what you feel about it. Because everybody, if it happens when you hang out with people, everybody's basically going to have their own little personal reaction, and just knowing what every single person thinks about it, I mean, that's not really going to help much, because you're going to get 47 different opinions. Okay. I'm not the best socializer. And I remember I once had a horrible freak out. Some bozo. I was playing some game with a bunch of friends in New York City. Some game in someone's apartment. It was like a board game. There was a whole bunch of people gathered around. And somebody must have thought it would be funny to put something in a drink of mine, I guess. I don't know what happened, because all of a sudden, over the course of like half an hour, I'm sitting there playing a game with people, and I started to feel like my face was doing something that I couldn't stop it from doing. And I got more and more anxiety about it sitting there. And I became convinced that my facial expressions were not appropriate. And they were and I was like, what is going on? I can't control my face. And it became worse and worse and worse until I started feeling like my face was melting and everybody was trying to hide the fact that this was happening. And they like pretending they weren't noticing. And it lasted about 20 minutes, and then it started to ease, and I was like, oh my God, what was that? And when I described it to someone later, they said, oh yeah, those people were like playing around with stupid stuff, and they were probably probably somebody just threw it in your drink or something just to see what would happen, and they were having fun. I was like, oh great, well, I'm never going back there again. But that was like that. I ended up with this anxiety about gathering in groups with people and just hanging out and having fun. I was like, oh my God, that could happen anytime. But anyway, that's different than yours, but still it's a form of anxiety. So let's do the 4 card. Okay. Okay. Let's start pulling cards. The self. To think. Feeling. The heart of it. Okay. Ten Wands. This is creative passion. This is every desire and drive you've got. And there's a lot. There's a big load here, and it's a lot to handle. It can be a burden. It's also success. Success can be hard. Success socially can involve effort. It requires strength. The 10 is the number of completion. That is the fullness, someone arriving at a condition that's taken a period of development. And they're ready to move. They're ready to finish and move on. And they've gained an enormous amount of understanding. So it's possible that you are seeing things about yourself. You're seeing this anxiety. You're at a point now where you are saying to yourself, what's going on here? Why am I hunkering down? Why am I hesitant now? Why am I shying away? Because I'm afraid of an anxiety, perhaps. And what you have here is a willingness to carry all of those burdens, all of that, the burden of success, of being sociable, of knowing people, of knowing yourself, of having these strengths and understanding your weaknesses and carrying all that and moving on to the next thing and bringing all of that with you. But the fact is, you are going to move past this condition. You're moving across, literally, across the water to the next city. That's what this card is. This is the spiritual self card. This is basically the touchstone of you. And it's saying, remember the strength and the character and the drive and the passion you have for life. And that could mean the passion you actually do have for friends and for relationships. That's part of your nature. And you can't leave it behind. You got to carry it all with you, with all of the anxiety, all of the discomforts and the comforts, all of the, the antagonisms and the pleasures. They all come with you. And you don't want to leave any part of it behind, because that's leaving a little part of yourself behind. So it's saying accept it. Just accept that as you and bring it along to the next big thing. Now, let's move over to thinking. Okay. Here we have this card reversed. I'm showing it right side. The 4. This card came up in my prior reading. This is having some sort of physical assurance, success, some sort of accomplishment, and looking to move again, to move on, just like here. But this is a more physical sense. This is our own well-being, our material, bodily well-being. It can also be seen as work, a job, money. But there's a basic comfort we have with ourselves here. But we have to be careful because it's reversed. We have to be careful about sitting still and protecting ourselves. The 4 is the number of protection and safety, always. The 4 is a very stable, solid household number. And when this, and it's fine to be that way, but when this is reversed, and in the context of our reading, it is, and it indicates hesitation to move, as in our spiritual nature here. What it's suggesting we need to do is move out into the world with all of our issues, bring them to our people, to our friends. It's okay. They have them too. This is showing that we want to sit between the 4 walls and stay safe. That's why it's reversed. But the indication of a reversed card is beware. Don't just sit there. Move. Get out. Follow this nature. Feeling. Again. We want to be active. We want to relate. We want to enjoy. We want to have the appetizer before the meal. We want to pair up with our friends and enjoy what we can do, what we can talk about, what we can accomplish. We want to enjoy our happiness, our successes. We want to share them. That's what our urge is. So this carrying forward, carrying all of our crap out, moving to our next cycle, stage of development socially, let's say, because that's what we're talking about. Get out from behind the 4 walls, share, enjoy, partner. The heart of the matter. Page of Swords comes up. Personality card, right there at the heart of the matter. Page. The page is the character in the tarot deck of the young, eager, enthusiastic communicator. A page is a communicator, a seeker out of information, a sharer of information. And the swords are the mental realm, the air, the thinking, the belief. So the heart of the issue is free up the thinking. Let the mind enjoy the successes, enjoy the urge to take flight and move across the water to the next big development of our personality. With all of our crap involved, so what? Carry it with you anyway, man. Don't leave it behind. It's okay. It's part of us all. Get out, enjoy, share, and don't let your thoughts go round and around and around and keep you locked up in here in the 4 walls over here. You know, let your thinking take a hint from the Page of Swords, who's youthful, who's still learning, who's a little naive, and who wants to run from person to person to person to person, finding out about this and about that and sharing information. You know, that's what the page's function is in the court, in the castle. And they're a little confused at times. They're a little like they don't quite know which direction to go. They might overstep their bounds now and then. That's what friends all do. That's what, if this card is saying your nature is to go out and bring all your stuff with you, this card is saying, yeah, and that's the whole ball game. Just It's saying think young. It's saying don't worry so much. You've got this. Take your thoughts and let them soar. I mean, you notice the crow is carrying the sword through the clouds, through the wind. It's just letting the mind take flight in new directions. So this is a very key sort of thing. Adhere to your nature, which is to move out and seek the experience. Don't protect yourself too much. Share and enjoy your friends. Don't let your mind hold you down. Let it take flight. Let it follow the youthful page who goes out there and enjoys the communication. So, yeah. So you, I think the message there is, the friends are kind of expecting you. They're expecting you and all your stuff. So it's not, I don't think they're worried. You're welcome. All right. LSD 0420. Huh? Okay, so should you meet up? Well, okay, so let's I mean, I can keep that simple. Let's do a 3-card reading. I'm assuming you kind of want to. I think you already know if you want to or not, and probably you want to, otherwise you wouldn't be asking. And so what we'll do is we'll just sort of look at a suggester for sort of how to think, easily about meeting up with someone tomorrow. All right, back to the tarot table. I'm coming over. Okay. All right. I'm going to give this some shuffling. It's so interesting how cards come up in multiple readings on a given night, even though I do this whole fanning out and picking it of the cards. The way I pick the cards out almost obviates the need for shuffling because it randomizes anyway. So, all right. So, should you meet up? The real, I'm not going to tell you whether or not absolutely to meet someone because I would not want tarot cards to prevent you from meeting someone who, should in fact end up, flash forward 20 years and you guys are running a business together and and having a huge success. So, but they can give you insight into a few things to consider about that, about meeting up tomorrow. Okay. Needs to present itself as Now, what will these 3 cards suggest to us? Again. Okay. The 4 of coins, pentacles, reversed. Again, a hesitancy. You know, there's a great deal of security going on physically. You may have a good job, you may have a condition you're very happy with at the moment. You may physically feel very comfortable. You may be content. There may be some hesitation to taking a few risks. These are looking for new things. It's not risk. It's risk in the sense that the new is always sort of gives us a sense of risk. But yeah, there's a hesitancy to enjoy something new, and this is on the physical level here. And this reverse card is suggesting you examine that hesitation. Right here in the heart, in the middle of it, the Page of Pentacles, Page of Coins, same suit as this. This is the Court card, though. This is very temporary condition here, this hesitancy. This is no big deal. This is recent hesitancy, that's all. It just pertains to what this issue is. This is a more personality level, and this is the Page. This is the Page when it's right side up. This is, again, young, enthusiastic communicator, sharer, a little dumb at times because they're young. They're the students of life. They're the learners. They're the urge to find out more and to enjoy that whole process. This, again, so what is happening here plays a key role here. This is hesitation. This wanting to be a little reasonable instead of being like the enthusiastic Page and stepping out, putting your sneakers on and just running out the door and enjoying life and learning something in the process. Eagerness. If it's reversed, that eagerness is sort of being tempered by, I need to be a little grown up, I need to be careful. This card here is saying that too. This card sort of suggests this is a little bit more of a habitual problem than this one over here. Same idea, a little bit more habitual. So it's just saying, look, not a big deal, just needs to be considered. Because you want that enthusiasm. You want that sort of, look at this bird. He's like sitting there looking at this big coin, feeling good about himself. He's ready to fly off in any direction. He's got flowers all around, springtime. You want that young feeling of I can go off and do whatever with no big deal, no huge consequences. That's the attitude of the Page. So I go out, I fall on my face, it's a big disaster, and the food at the restaurant is just horrific. And, I almost get hit by a cab, but I
I jump over it just at the last possible second, and it rains, and I get all my new clothes all soaked. I don't care. So I'll go to the dry cleaner. Whatever. That's what the page does. So it's saying get some of that spirit in there. Now here, we got another reversal. This is the thinking mind. And this is the 10. This is fatigue. This is, I've gotten somewhere. I know I have. I know I got all these. This has been so hard. Things have been so hard up to now. I'm burdened. I've been sort of wounded before. And I can't stop thinking about all those failures and wounds. You know, I have to bear that. Okay? That's what this card is. The bearing of wounds and the process, getting to this point, all this learning that this stupid page decided to go out and do. It's just left me dog-tired and injured, you know, emotionally and mentally. And I just need to lie here and recuperate because I can't even think about going to the next thing. But this is reversed. That all is reversed. So what's happening is this is saying, look, it's not that bad. You know, you've really been overthinking this. These problems that, you know, this is like a sprained ankle, not a broken leg. This is, you can get up and you can carry these quite easily because this is what you need to be doing. You need to be the page. Enthusiasm. So this is basically saying here, come on, man, get over it. You know, don't wallow. Yeah, sure, it was hard. It was hard for us too. You know, we've all been stabbed by 10 swords. It happens to all the best of us. And we just pull them out and toss them aside and get up and fly away. That's what that card's saying. So, it's basically saying, you know, meeting up with people, it can go any way it's going to go. It's really all comes down to how you approach things and how you let them sit with you, and whether or not you're approaching things enthusiastically and openly, or if you're approaching things just with this nervous hesitation and worry that things won't work because they didn't before. That's what that reading is saying. Okay. Cryptic. You're very welcome, LSD. Oh, and you're next after Cryptic. Cryptic is saying that they're delayed a bit because they're on a phone. So I'm just going to wait a minute so Cryptic can type the question. Okay. Single father. I want to know if the life path you've chosen is the right one. Some days I feel like I'm not doing it. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is one I'm very familiar with. Yeah. I'm right there with you. Yeah. Life path chosen. Is the right one? Yeah. I know that feeling. Oh boy, do I know that feeling. Okay. All right, cryptic. I gotta tell you, that feeling. That feeling. It really never goes away. It just doesn't. And it's also there. Like, I think most good parents ask that question. To be honest, I think the parents I know, so many of them, have that same thing. But the single, the thing that single parent thing, either for a mom or a dad, has a whole mountain of stuff underneath it. There's a ton of experiences that go along with that. That condition, the arguments, the back and forth, the reason that people are there, all that stuff. At least there are all kinds of reasons why someone is a single parent. I mean, heck, just being a single parent because you want to be one is that's totally. I have no people that do it that way. But I think because you are a single parent, you have sometimes you don't have that other person right there, right in front of you, to ask, to give you that, bounce things off of constantly every single day. So, I've, made stupid movie choices like when my kid was growing up. Oh, wait, you weren't, let's watch a movie, a rental, like from remember Blockbuster, and I remember showing my kid Terminator at some point when she was like way too young to be watching Terminator. It was the stupidest thing. Anyway, it's just a small example. Okay, let's see. Let's do 4. Let's do the 4. I'm really into the 4 sort of heart in the head spread. Self, kind of on the spiritual side, self. Thinking, feeling, heart of the matter. Okay. Talking about whether or not a right path. Let's just find a way to think about that. Think about our doubts about a path with kids. Okay. That's a 6 reversed. The 6, and here we are with the physical realm. This is life taking care of itself. This is the earth symbol for, our wherewithal, our job, our money, our food, our house, our bodies, everything we can sort of touch and count and get a grip on is this. And this 6 here, we've got this sort of sharing. It's a easygoing sharing of the wealth. We are. You can see in the picture that there's sort of an offering going on. There's an equanimity. There's an equality, a balance happening. So things are in a good balanced state. Okay, and we're partaking of what we have accomplished and our success and what we have. We have things and we can rely on them and share them. There's a reversal here, which means there's some nervousness going on about this. Not too severe. This is a number card. This is not a huge deal. This is, just worries about, that kind of comfortable, harmonious feeling of enjoying what one has. Okay, what you have, where you live, how much you make, that kind of issue is here. And there's a little bit of trepidation going on about this. So in other words, we're not freeing ourselves to enjoy exactly what we have now. Not then, not what we may have, but right today. And our thoughts. 9 of Cups. That's like a party. That is, we have a lot of overflowing feeling, okay? A lot of feeling, a lot of emotion, a lot of love. But our thinking position over here, something's occupying the thoughts about this fullness, this over sort of abundance of things, of love, of true feeling. Could be family. Being proud of it, this image is this pride, this sort of look what I've done, look what I have, look, I'm so proud of my family and my feelings about them. We share so much. We actually have more than we know. Here again, as a result, most likely because of these doubts up here about where we are right now. It's occupying our mind a little bit. So the card is sort of hinting that you're dwelling a bit on this concern about your wherewithal, about your current situation, and you're missing the full cups, the full heart that you're right in the middle of. Now, that's the thinking. So in other words, it wants you to think about it. It wants you to say, why? Why am I missing this? Why am I not allowing myself to feel comfortable? Because I have some doubts here in the more material realm. Queen of Cups, reversed. Queen of Cups, personality card. Fertility, love, taking care of everyone. A gentle authority, an understanding, nurturing, very mother sort of card. A mother card. And this is the cups again. These are both cups. This mother card is reversed. So there's some issue here with discomfort in what we have. not allowing ourselves to just feel because we're overthinking. Our thoughts are caught here. And it's diminishing the sense of the mothering. We're talking about fathers here, but mothering is, especially if you're a single parent, you got to have both. You got to be aware of both, at least. You got to be thinking about father, mother. How do they work together? If I'm standing, what this card is saying is don't forget the mother voice. If I'm standing here saying don't do that, what would that other person be would say if we were all in the same room? How would they phrase it? How would the father voice phrase it? How would the mother voice phrase it? Are they in fact different? Are they the same? It could be. But the card is saying that this might not. It's being resisted. That force is being resisted. This Queen of Cups is the feeling of the mother. It's not the rationale of the mother. It's not the skill of the mother. It's the sense. It's the heart feeling of the mother that has to be present here, even though we're talking about dads. It has to be present here. It doesn't mean you have to call someone's mother. It means it's in you. It has to be found. This. Now let's get right to the heart. Okay. Wands. Creativity. Passion. Drive. What it takes to get things done and built, made. It could be making a family. You could be making decisions about how to run your family. It's that urge to do those things and build something. And the 6, this is whole. This is like achievement times 10. These are all number cards, though. So they come and they go. These are the waves, the ripples on the surface of the water. They come and they go more easily. These are more like the tides. These are longer lasting, more of the personality. But so this is saying, okay, this, all this success, the sharing, this familial gathering and enjoying of this sort of common effort that leads to great success. The heart of the issue is that our hesitation to enjoy these feelings, to enjoy our current status without wishing it should be something else, and our need to get in touch with the softer, more mothering part of us is holding up this joy. Okay, so I would say the big lesson here is drop some of the worry, enjoy the feeling of being in the family, what the family is, and see perhaps a little bit more of the feminine perspective that's in all of us guys. It's just a reminder to do that, because it can be hard, especially when things get sort of argumentative between people, like if there are parents involved, if there are split parents, sometimes, that back and forth, it gets, and then one can like totally adopt their perspective. A mother can, I'm just totally doing what a mother would do, and the dad can be totally doing what a dad would do, period. And this is saying, no, that's not quite it. Has to be a little of this here in every dad. So just pay attention to it.
Now, that just works both ways. That works dads, moms, it's these are just forces in everyone to one degree or another. So when I say dad, when I say mom, they're interchangeable. It just means look at the thing from that other perspective. And in this case, I think the mother, sort of the gentler, the nurturer part is being emphasized. It's saying, look at that. That's where it is. Good, Cryptic. I'm glad. It's just, as I said, I remember these things so well from years ago. Your question. All right. You're welcome, Cryptic. Okay. So, Annie Uchiha. I think you already asked your question here. It's written. I'm going to read this. You want to know if he will unblock you, apologize to me, and will he get back to me? If yes, when? And also I want to know, why is he angry at me and what he thinks about My birthday's 20. I'm excited. I hope these questions. Okay. So, essentially, when we get right down to it, William, will he get back to me if you, and also want to know, why is he angry at me and what he thinks about me? Okay, well, you jammed a lot in there. That's like a 6-car pileup on the interstate. That question. That's a biggie, and I'm going to try and distill it into you want things to be okay with someone. You don't want them to be mad. You don't even quite know why they're mad. Right? I mean, so yeah. So let's go back over there. You want to know that things are going to be okay with this person. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't have to be a lot of detail. You really just want to sort of, and it's, the cards aren't going to tell you whether or not it's going to be okay. What they'll do is they will offer little hints to think about, to sort of help things get clearer so that things can be okay, and usually the cards end up being a sort of a suggestion for maybe something to talk about with someone, maybe a way to approach bringing stuff up and having just a regular old conversation with them. But that's what the cards do. So I'm going to do a very straightforward little three little chapters in the book. Three chapters. In the book. Okay, Ana Lucia.
We have conflict. Wands, desire, passion, urges, the impulses inside a relationship, forces that bring two people together. The 5 is the number of something new unsettling it, something coming in and creating upset, a new idea, a new element introduced to stability that destabilizes. It presents opportunity. It's not. However, the card is reversed. So what that is suggesting is that there's a resistance to change. So there might be something in the dynamic going on between two people where there's a resistance to adaptation to something. There have been some ideas thrown out that aren't being accepted. So what the card is sort of hinting here is you gotta play it out. You gotta have it out. The creative urges, the urges for physical relationships, the sort of passions involved in a relationship, those forces have to, even if there's conflict, they have to play out. They have to be, in a healthy way, allowed expression. People should feel uncomfortable at times. Things have to be brought up out into the open, and they unsettle people for a bit and they talk them through. This card is saying something's holding that process up. There's a resistance to this conflict, healthy argument, and it should be considered. Now, we've got a very important central element here, which is a personality quality that's more long-lasting than this. This is very temporary number card. That doesn't last long. Page of Wands is longer lasting, like the tides, like I said in the other reading. The page wants to know more and wants to talk and share. Look what the bird's doing. I mean, he's basically singing. He's crowing. Flying over on his wand, He's basically just launched out into the world in the bright sunshine, flying over the town, singing and just having a great enjoyment of his passionate will to create. This is the same suit, Wands. So where there's this hesitation to deal with some conflict and some unsettling new elements of some kind, that isn't really the normal state. This is the more central idea. Central, perhaps, to your personality. This eagerness to express and to experience, to show someone how you feel about them, to show your desire, your love, to build a relationship. Sometimes in the face of, resistance and overwhelming odds, you're still that youthful page who's running around trying to experience life and learn things and talk to everybody without regard for the risks. Communication is what this card is saying. Fall back on that. Express what you have. And when you do that, it's very attractive to people, that kind of thing. Expressing yourself openly in a healthy way is very, very attractive. Now here, This is something to watch out for coming. Okay? And the 3 here, so you see here the cups, this is love, this is feeling, this is the heart. And these guys, they're just drinking it. I mean, they're taking the water of life in. 3 is the number of action. And you can see all the fertility around them. You can see all the sort of vegetation and things are growing and happening. And they're reaping the benefits of what's around. Okay? And they've basically been able to take steps, and they've been able to express their feeling. But this is reversed. So, there's resistance here to the enjoyment of what's really in the heart. And that's what this is warning about. This central element of the enthusiastic expression of one's passionate feelings is running up against a resistance to taking the next step in matters of the heart. And this could be external, it could be the other person, it could be in oneself. Usually tarot cards are best thought of as dealing with oneself, one's own mind. So, conflicts should be dealt with openly instead of being resisted as they are here. The heart should be opened and enjoyed honestly instead of being closed. Those two things both happen because one pays attention to this constant urge to just express it and enjoy it and live it and not worry too much about whether or not it's all going to work out in the end, or if it should, or if this is the right person. That's what this is telling us to do, and this will get you through the resistances here. So that middle card with the Page of Wands is the one that I would look at and sort of emulate, because that kind of free, open expression of how one feels tends to break through those resistances that you see on either side of it. It tends to. It doesn't always. I mean, different things happen between people, but it's something that's certainly a valuable thing to think about, because usually people respond to the energy represented by the Page of Wands. It's very, very sort of, appealing, because it, you can't resist that kind of energetic expression of your feeling, of your desire. And that's what's important in a relationship. So that's the important thing. The other factors, whether or not somebody ultimately answers a phone
when you call. If they don't, they don't. But the important thing is that you move through life with some element of that Page of Wands. That you remember that, because that's what gets you through the long haul. Okay. Roshan. Hi. You go ahead and ask your question. I am going to eat another cookie. My dinner tonight is cookies. Annie Uchiha. The cards are telling you to pay attention to open, honest expression of how you feel, and to pay attention to those feelings even if you can't express them to another person. It's telling you to enjoy that aspect of yourself, and that is what increases chances of positive outcomes in situations like this. In other words, anyone would be stupid not to respond to someone that was paying attention to that middle card. So I'm going to leave that middle card sitting there for another few seconds, so have one last look at it and keep it in mind. Page of Wands, enthusiasm, open expression, heartfelt, kind of innocent. I have no idea what a deity. I don't know what a deity identification is. I don't know anything about gods. I'm talking to Annie. I'm talking to Roshan Yoshin. Roshan Yoshin. But the cards can, the cards can sort of give you a general idea, sort of a spiritual sense. So let's go over there and do that.
Roshan Yoshin. Right out there with your heart out. You just follow your heart right out into the world. Straight out and do what you love. Just part of your nature. Follow it and you act on it. That's what the Knight of Cups is saying. This is an element of you to think about. What you love, you follow, you put it into action, it influences what you do. That's part of you, that's gotten you here. Okay. A lot of thinking goes on, and it's happening now. And it can hold you up. One thought pointing this way, another thought pointing that way. Sort of not quite knowing which direction to move in. That's why the crow is blind. Blinded by the thoughts, by the mind. Sometimes overthinking things can lead to stasis. Trapped by your own head, keeping you from applying this energy, this heart, doing what you love. A lot of doubts and fears and worries and beliefs and other ideas, other people's ideas, maybe our own old ideas, getting in our way. This is why people often say, get out of your head. Get out of your head. Stop, you're overthinking. Well, that's what's happening here. But this is a number card. This isn't too serious. It's very temporary. This is just a momentary problem of being stuck for a bit. Overthinking. This is more natural to you. This is like you go out and you do things because you love to do them. Period. The Chariot. Okay? Chariot. This is a major card. Major arcana. This is deeper. This is how, karma. This is the next stage coming. This is where we get because of what we've done. This is taking big steps, having the energy to fly from one continent to the next, from one state of being to the next, to move with the crow from one understanding to a new understanding. The Chariot, and we have to sort of put ourselves out. So the Chariot is usually, in other cards, is drawn by horses. We move into the world with confidence, but it's like this guy, moving out into the world, following the heart. The Chariot is that very active, deep component of our personality where we can take charge and go and make change, move from one thing to the next. But we're very confident. But you see, it's reversed. So this upcoming struggle suggests that we need to overcome this being stuck in thoughts, negativity, being sort of pulled down by our thinking, our constant reminders that we don't know how to do this, we don't know how to do that. Now, the deity question, I don't really know. I would say, what is the god in Greek? Dionysus is the sort of, he's a little too much of a reveler. The following of the heart. I'm trying to figure out. Apollo maybe is here. Excuse me, in the chariot. Apollo may be here when right side up. But there's a hesitation to move forward in some kind of major development because the mind's getting in the way. There are a lot of worries that seem very rational, and they're all sort of equal. And what has to be remembered is this sense of joy. These are similar cards in that they're both active. They ride out into the world and take action. This one is resisted, but this one we know is a component of the personality that you can fall back on this and understand that you have it so that you can get past this cage.
Roshan Yoshin, you're welcome. We have another Q member. Huka One Cult. Ah, I love reading. Okay, so any excuse me, I'm eating cookies. Sorry. Anything sort of any specific way you want to phrase that? In other words, is there a do you just want a sort of a general love reading for sort of what the cards sort of suggest about love in general? Oh, okay. No, that's fine. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I see. New things. Yes. I know. Okay, let me see. I gotcha. Yeah. Okay, let's see. This is okay, so this will be about a new relationship.
New relationship. Two pages. Wow. The recurring symbols that are coming up tonight are extraordinary. We could put those together into one reading. Page of Pentacles reversed. Hesitation. Wondering. This card wants you to get out there. This card wants you to say, hesitation? What hesitation? I ain't got no hesitation. It's reverse. This is saying this hesitation, what's to hesitate? It's right there in front of you. Look, it's staring right at you. You're looking at it. That physical pleasure. It's right there. What's holding you up? Pentacles, coins are the physical, the earth symbol. This is touch, feel. It's money also. It's the earthy part of what we do. Saying, enjoy a little. It's reverse. So it's like, come on, enjoy life. Enjoy the simple pleasures. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy the feeling of it in your fingers. Grab hold. That's what this card is telling us about this new relationship. It's like, don't sit there on the branch all day long just dreaming about it. Go. Page of Wands. Again, same thing. Passion. The wands are the fire. This is the earth. This is the touch, the skin, the work. This can also be, there's a sense of hesitation because of work, because of jobs. But the basic idea is don't be so hesitant where enjoyment of these physical, worldly things are concerned. The Page of Wands is the desire, the fire. This is the heat of the thing. Let yourself experience that feeling, the newness. Let yourself enjoy it and take that sort of enthusiastic plunge that the young person learning, takes. That eagerness. There's some resistance going on. It's telling you that these new things, they require this to be this way. Just go out there and express it. And this is the card of conflict. New things, unsettling, these unsettled. But this is very temporary. Here, there's a number card. These are more longer. This is short term. This can pass in a day or two. This is like a little nervousness now because it's reversed of this sort of new. The new element that unsettles you in the realm of the wands. It unsettles your security and your sense of how things feel with this, with your normal, your passion, your desire for someone or something or to do something. There's some hesitation here. So all these cards are talking about hesitancy, holding up, being cautious. And they're there because they're reversed because there is a caution, perhaps, that's going on. But the conflict and unsettled quality, very short-lived here. And it's, let it work itself out is what this card is saying. let yourself be enthusiastic. Enjoy. You know, don't let these things worry you. Enjoy them as natural parts of the new. I think that's what's going on here. These are basically just saying, okay, let's get over ourselves and our doubts and fears and take a nice sort of eager approach. Okay, so very earthy. Grounding is your main thing. Changes scare you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Yuka one cult. That's good. So yeah, just these cards are they're reversed because they're just saying it's okay. It's okay. Let those are natural things, and let them progress. Think about that. Is that Diggy? Is that Diggy? You're up. All right, let's see. One more of these cookies. I think that Diggy may have left. So, is that Diggy? If you're there, give me a quick wave. All right. Large three-st cat reform 3D. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I just clicked the. Okay. Okay. Hi. Large three-st cat reformed. I can't ever read. I think I must have some sort of a reading issue going on. Okay, go ahead. You are up. Okay, obscure is good.
Must be a long one. It's a long question, isn't it? Oh, that's not for you though. That's the other reading. Oh, here we go. Why my big investment fell through. I had divine help for it. Then it sort of fell apart, and I wanted to know the reason. Okay. Why my big investment fell through. Okay, well, investment we can take that to mean any kind of investment. It's an investment of all that matters is it's an investment of something important to you. And why something falls through, tarot won't really tell anyone specifically why something fails, but it can give you a perspective, an insight onto things to consider in general about that kind of thing, about investing one's time and energy into something, even one's money, of course, investing emotions into something, but just things to remember. Basically, it doesn't give you specific answers about why something doesn't do this or that, or exactly what to do about this or that. It just sort of gives you little hints about how the mind works sometimes and what to consider. Okay. Let's see what offerings we find. Okay. Ace of Pentacles. Earth. Wherewithal. What we own, what we have, our bodies, our home, our money, what we possess, what we need to sustain ourselves, to sustain our lifestyles, that kind of thing. Ace. Unlimited potential. This is the big signal that it's time to consider this, that we have incredible potential, that there's a big need to take action here. This is reversed, so there's some wavering, some feeling of not quite being prepared, not ready. We're not entirely secure in our efforts to pursue, the physical, the financial, the sort of realm of day-to-day living and taking care of those things. It could mean investing. It could mean investing anything. We're doubting our ability here. That's why it's reversed. There's some fear. Anytime you have fear of
getting a raise or not, or whether your boss is going to be angry, or whether you're going to have enough money to pay your rent or your mortgage or your car payment. That's here in this. It's reversed. Fear, nervousness. But the Queen of Swords comes in and calms the mind. And this is a major component of the personality here. This is temporary. This is short-lived, this nervousness, because it's a number card. This is a deeper court card, personality central sort of system card. And this, the Queen, she knows herself, and she has this innate ability to make everything around her grow and flourish, makes wise choices because she is methodical and calm and fair. And she seeks to benefit all those around her. And she keeps a very calm, stable mind. But she can use it very swiftly and effectively because she's the Queen of Swords. She has power. But that power comes with this sense of nurturing. There's a positivity, a sort of a loving sense behind her authority and her thinking. And that's something to consider. That's an aspect of male and female minds. And it's saying, think about that gentle authority that's calm and quiet and methodical, not impulsive, doesn't rush out anywhere. And it's then pointing, this is central, this is personality, and this is sort of diminishing. This fear is leaving. It's temporary. This is more of something to look forward to. 2 of Pentacles. So here we're sandwiched. We have the Queen of Swords sandwiched by the 2 pentacles, the earth symbols, the money. And this suggests a unification, a coming together, a partnering, a discussion, a positivity, a growth opportunity by engaging in an exchange and a coming together of 2 elements leading to enormous potential. Something to consider. That, of course, is requiring this strong but very calm nurturing, always seeking the beneficial action for everyone, for not just the self, but the generosity. That's the nurturing spirit of all the Queen cards. Leads to a very positive unification, a partnering or a discussion and exchange, a coming together, a coupling of 2 things leading to future growth.
You're very welcome. Yeah, I mean, calm discussions and thinking things through calmly and taking the time one needs is, I think, always worth something. Striker Hero Camo, are you still there? I saw you said hi, so hello. think people are. I think some people have stopped by and then gotten tired because sometimes I don't do the fastest readings. I have to say, sometimes I spend a little time, and I think it's late at night in certain places. I think that some of the people that join the queue do in fact get sleepy and drop off. Yes. Yes, tarot tourists, yeah. Well, I mean, look, yeah, it's nice to see that, you see a deck of cards, you see a little layout and a spread, and you just get a quick sort of nice impression visually of what someone's doing with a deck of tarot cards. Hey, it's fun, it's a nice little quick, relaxing sort of a visual stimulus. Talgia, let me give you. Okay, yeah, you go ahead, Talgia. You're next. Will he? Well, okay. Let's see. This will be a reading about communication. When you reach out, these are some things to think about as far as, the benefits of reaching out to someone. If you reach out and talk to someone, there's all kinds of reasons why somebody wouldn't be reaching out, and who knows, but let's just see what happens when the Six of Wands. There's been, great harmony and pleasure in the realm of desire in a relationship. Wholeness, there's a good feeling about that. There's a sort of sense of it works. You want to be with someone, you have a passionate sort of a want to be with them, and it feels good. And that's what this card is talking about. That's what's gotten us to this point now in the present. So this is understood, and it's sort of leaving. Okay? Now there's an issue, and there's the King of Wands involved. The King of Wands is strong, has control of his passions, his desire. He can be a bit remote. Very, very, can be intimidating. But at the same time, the King of Wands, because he understands his motivations and drives, he's comfortable with his passions and his desire and love. He's a person to talk to. He's the person you want to talk to. That's what the King of Wands does.
He's there. He's waiting. He's got some wisdom. Is willing to listen. There's a calm. He can be a bit remote, but he's there. He's, look at that lion. He's just totally placid, just sitting, staring you down, waiting. Let's hear what you got. This card is the upcoming hesitancy. This is the inability to take charge, to jump in, have at it, have a go with the idea to get out there and take the next step and take charge. There's a holdup here. So it looks to me like there is a holdup, but there is this really good feeling that feels sort of right. And here, this card is suggesting that there's a more wise receptivity, even though it seems a little intimidating at the moment. The lion is there, but he's got a rose sitting there. So the hesitation can be broken here. This hesitation to take charge and act is something that comes up a lot because it's a major card. But we're dealing with the center of the issue here. There's some remoteness, but also an understanding and a confidence and a fairness here. I would say that if you look at that central card, the King of Wands, and you feel that, you have to look at that card and decide whether or not it represents a useful symbol for this question. And if you think it does, and it makes you sort of feel like, hey, talking to someone who is capable of listening and responding intelligently is always a good thing. I mean, look, people who communicate usually do better in every realm than people who don't. That's what the cards are saying. The upside down chariot is representative of hesitancy in communication and action. And the two cards on the left are saying, you've got this passion that feels great, and you've got a central figure of a king, which is a symbol of experience and understanding and knowledge. So someone knows themselves pretty darn well. Someone can understand a lot of complex things here. So it's never really a bad thing to communicate with people if they are like that in general. All right, so it's been a pretty good evening of reading. I think I'm going to close the queue and get ready
to wrap it up, and it's been pretty good. I really like the questions tonight and the people. You're very welcome, Talja, and good luck with everything. And I hope everybody has a great evening and have fun with the cards.